The microphone was in my hand. 300 guests were staring at me, waiting for the maid of honor speech. My sister Claire sat at the head table in her $12,000 dress, smiling that perfect smile she'd practiced in the mirror for months. Her new husband Derek squeezed her hand, looking nervous. He should be. I cleared my throat and smiled. I've been waiting 4 years to say this. Claire's smile faltered. Just slightly. Just enough. But I'm getting ahead of myself, I said into the microphone. Let me start from the beginning. Because you all need to understand how we got here. If this sounds like it's going somewhere good, hit that subscribe button now. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. My name is Betty Hayes. I'm 29 years old, and until 4 years ago, I thought my younger sister was my best friend. We did everything together growing up. Shared clothes, shared secrets, shared dreams about the future. I was 25 when I met Nathan Chen at a graphic design conference in Seattle. He was 28, funny, kind, had this way of seeing the world that made everything seem more interesting. He was a software developer who actually understood my design work, who could talk about color theory and user experience without his eyes glazing over. We dated for 6 months before I brought him home to meet my family. That was my first mistake. Claire was 21 then, fresh out of college, working at a boutique marketing firm and living with our parents while she figured things out. She was beautiful. I'm not being modest, she genuinely was. Blonde hair that always looked professionally styled, perfect skin, the kind of smile that made people want to give her things. I was the practical one, the steady one. Claire was the star. The weekend Nathan came to visit, Claire turned on every watt of that charm. She laughed at all his jokes, asked him questions about his work, wore her best outfits. I thought she was just being nice, being welcoming. I thought my little sister was happy for me. What I didn't see was the way she looked at him when I wasn't watching. The way she angled her body toward him during conversations. The way she touched his arm just a little too long when making a point. Nathan told me later that he noticed it also. He just didn't think anything would come of it. 3 months after that visit, Nathan got a job offer in Boston. Better pay, better position, opportunity to work on projects he'd only dreamed about. I had my own freelance design business that I could run from anywhere. We decided to move together, get serious, build something real. 2 weeks before the move, I threw a going-away party. 50 people crammed into my apartment, celebrating, drinking, promising to visit. Nathan and I were in the kitchen around midnight, making more drinks, when I realized I'd left my phone in the bedroom. I went to grab it. Claire was in my bedroom, going through my nightstand drawer. She jumped when she saw me, laughed nervously. Sorry, I was looking for an aspirin for my headache. My aspirin was in the bathroom. She knew that. But I let it go. I always let things go with Claire. The next morning, I couldn't find my birth control pills. I tore apart my bathroom, my bedroom, checked everywhere. They were just gone. I figured I'd misplaced them in the chaos of packing. I got a new prescription and didn't think about it again. Until 5 weeks later when I took a pregnancy test and saw 2 pink lines. Nathan and I weren't ready. We just moved. We were both starting new positions. We talked about kids being 5 years away at least. But we also weren't against it. We decided to keep the baby, adjust our plans, figure it out together. I was 12 weeks along when I flew home to tell my family in person. Claire squealed and hugged me. I'm going to be an aunt. My mother cried happy tears. My father opened champagne. Everyone was so excited, so supportive. It was perfect. That night, I stayed in my old bedroom. Claire came in around 11 p.m., sat on my bed like we were teenagers again. Can I tell you something? She asked. Of course, I said. I think I'm in love, she whispered. With who? I was genuinely excited for her. She smiled. I can't say yet. But he's amazing, Betty. He's perfect. I hugged her, told her I was happy for her, went to sleep thinking my little sister had finally found someone who deserved her. 3 days later, Nathan called me. His voice was shaking. We need to talk. Claire had messaged him on Facebook. Said she needed advice about something she couldn't discuss with me. Could they meet for coffee? Nathan, being kind and wanting to be a good brother-in-law, said yes. They met at a Starbucks near his office. Claire cried. Told him she'd made a terrible mistake. That night at my going-away party, they'd kissed. She'd had too much to drink, she said. She wasn't thinking clearly. And now she couldn't stop thinking about him. She knew it was wrong. She knew he was with me. But she had to tell him the truth. Nathan was confused. We never kissed, he told her. Claire, that never happened. She showed him a photo. The two of them in my apartment hallway, his hand on her arm, her face turned toward his. You could see that he was actually saying goodnight, that the hand on her arm was him moving past her to reach the bathroom. From the angle, from the way she'd captured it, it looked intimate. I know what happened, she told him. I know you remember. And I can't pretend anymore. I have feelings for you. Nathan left the meeting and called me right away. He told me everything. By the time he finished, my hands were shaking with anger. I called Claire. She broke down instantly, crying, apologizing, insisting she never meant for any of this to happen. She said she'd been confused, that she'd developed a crush on Nathan but knew it was wrong. She swore she would never act on it. Please don't hate me, she sobbed. I'm so sorry, Betty. I would never do anything to hurt you. I promise. I forgave her because that's what I always do. That's what I'd always done. Claire made mistakes, and I cleaned them up. I told Nathan she was just young and confused, that she didn't mean anything by it. He didn't agree, but he let it go for me. 2 weeks later, I miscarried at 13 weeks. The baby I'd been planning my life around was just gone. I was devastated. Nathan held me while I cried. My family flew to Boston to be with me. Claire stayed for a week, brought me food, sat with me, and was the perfect sister. Before she left, she hugged me tight. I love you so much, she whispered. You're going to get through this. You're the strongest person I know. I believed her. 4 months passed. Nathan and I were healing, making new plans, talking about trying again in a year or 2. We were going to be okay. Then Nathan's company sent him to a conference in New York for a week. He called me every night, told me about his meetings, about the city, about how much he missed me. On the 4th night, he didn't call. I texted. No response. I called. Voicemail. I tried not to panic. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he was in meetings late. Maybe he just fell asleep. At 2 a.m., he finally called. His voice sounded hollow. Betty, I need to tell you something. Claire was at the conference. He'd run into her at the hotel bar. What a coincidence, she'd said. Her company had sent her to do social media coverage for a client event. Same hotel. Small world. They'd had a drink. Caught up. She'd apologized again for the confusion from before. Told him she was seeing someone new, that she was happy. Everything seemed fine until Nathan went to his room. An hour later, there was a knock on his door. Claire was there, crying, saying she'd had a fight with her new boyfriend over the phone, asking if she could come in just for a minute. She just needed someone to talk to. Nathan let her in. That was his second mistake. His first was meeting her for a drink in the first place. She sat on his bed, cried about her relationship, told him he was the only one who understood her. Then she kissed him. Nathan pushed her away immediately. Claire. No. I'm with Betty. Your sister. She stepped back, stunned, her face tightening with hurt. I thought you felt something too. That night at the party. Nothing happened that night, Nathan cut in. You need to leave. Claire left. By the next morning, Nathan learned she had filed a complaint with hotel security. She claimed he'd been inappropriate, that he'd invited her to his room and made advances. Security reviewed the hallway cameras. They showed Claire knocking on his door. They showed her entering willingly. They showed her leaving an hour later. Calm, composed, no sign of distress. The complaint was dismissed. Nathan told me everything. Every word. Every detail. He was shaken, terrified I wouldn't believe him. But I did because I knew Claire. I'd known her my entire life. And somewhere deep down, I'd always known she took what she wanted, without caring who she hurt in the process. I called her. She denied everything. Nathan's lying, she said. He invited me to his room. He tried something. I said no. Now he's twisting it so he doesn't look bad. The cameras show you knocked on his door, Claire. I knocked to ask for directions to the lobby. He invited me in, she insisted. I'm telling the truth, Betty. Why would I lie? That's when it clicked. The missing birth control pills. The pregnancy. The miscarriage. The timing. I'd gotten pregnant right after my pills disappeared. Right after Claire had been in my room, supposedly looking for aspirin. I went to my doctor and asked a simple question. Could stopping birth control suddenly cause complications in early pregnancy? She said it was possible. The hormonal shock could contribute to problems, especially early on. Not definitive, but possible. Then I called a lawyer. Not to press charges. I had no proof Claire had taken my pills. But I needed to understand my options. What I could document. How to protect myself. Her name was Patricia Moss. 58 years old. Come. Precise. Unshakable. Document everything, she told me. Every interaction. Every message. Every contradiction. She paused. If she's done this once, she'll do it again. And next time you'll be ready. I took her advice. I kept every text message. Every email. Every voicemail. I started a private journal, dated every entry, noted every interaction with Claire. I backed everything up in 3 different places. And I waited. Because I knew Claire. She didn't stop. She never stopped. 2 months later, Nathan and I broke up. Not because of Claire, at least not directly. But her shadow was over everything. He couldn't look at me without thinking about my sister. I couldn't look at him without remembering what she'd tried to do. We loved each other. But love wasn't enough anymore. Claire called me when she heard. I'm so sorry, she said. Are you okay? I'm fine, I told her. Fine, she repeated. Betty, you don't sound fine. What do you want, Claire? She kept quiet for a while before saying, I just want my sister back. I hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked her on social media. Told my parents I needed space from Claire, that she'd done things I couldn't forgive. They didn't understand. She's your sister, my mother said. Family forgives. But I was done forgiving. A year passed. I threw myself into my design work, built my business, made new friends, started therapy. I didn't date. Didn't trust anyone enough to get close. I was healing but slowly. Then the wedding invitation arrived. Claire Elizabeth Hayes and Derek William Morrison request the honor of your presence. My mother called. Please come, she begged. Please. Claire wants you there. She's been asking about you for months. Has she apologized? She wants to. She's been trying to reach you. She has my email. It's not blocked. I checked. No emails from Claire. Not in a year. She'd been lying to our parents, playing the victim, the heartbroken sister who just wanted reconciliation. I should have declined. Should have thrown the invitation away. But something made me RSVP yes. Curiosity maybe. Or the sense that this wasn't over yet. I hired a private investigator. I needed to know who Derek was, how they'd met, whether Claire had told him about Nathan. The investigator's name was Frank Russo. Former detective, now private. He specialized in background checks for worried families. It took him 3 days. Derek Morrison, 32, worked in finance. He had a solid job, good reputation with no red flags. He'd met Claire at a networking event 18 months ago. They'd dated for 8 months before getting engaged. Everything looked normal. Except for one thing. Derek had a brother who died 5 years ago by a car accident. The brother had been engaged to a woman named Allison Park. After the brother died, Derek had stayed close to Allison, helping her through her grief, handling his brother's estate with her. According to Allison's social media, which Frank accessed through a professional database, she and Derek had been spending time together regularly until about 18 months ago. Then suddenly, nothing. She'd stopped posting photos with him. Stopped mentioning him entirely. And started seeing a therapist who specialized in betrayal trauma. Frank dug deeper and found Allison's number. I called her. Hi, you don't know me, but I'm calling about Derek Morrison. She was silent for a long moment. Are you a friend of his? His fiancée's sister. Then you should know something, Allison said. And she told me everything. Derek proposed 6 months after his brother died. He said they would honor his memory by building a life together, by choosing joy where there had been loss. Allison believed him. She thought it was beautiful, romantic, a way to keep his brother's spirit alive in something hopeful. Then, at a work event, she met Derek's new colleague, Claire. Within 2 months, everything shifted. Derek began canceling plans, staying late at the office, growing distant in small, deniable ways. Allison told herself he was grieving, that loss had finally caught up with him. She wanted to believe that, until she found the messages on his phone. Texts from Claire. I can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again? I've never felt this way before. In that moment, Allison understood something devastating. Derek hadn't been mourning his brother. He'd been replacing her. When Allison confronted him, Derek broke down. Said he'd made a mistake. That Claire had pursued him aggressively. That he'd tried to resist but felt confused. Allison ended it. Derek begged her to stay. She refused. 3 months later, Derek and Claire were engaged. She went after him because he was mine, Allison said quietly. That's what girls like her do. They don't want what they want. They want what someone else has. I thanked Allison for her time. Hung up. Stared at my phone. Claire had done it again. Found someone who belonged to someone else and decided she wanted him. This time it worked. This time she was getting her wedding. If you want to see how this ends, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to see it. What happens next is insane. I started preparing. I had 4 months until the wedding. 4 months to gather evidence, build my case, make sure everything was documented and verifiable. I contacted Nathan. We hadn't spoken in 2 years. I need your help, I told him. He agreed immediately. We wrote down everything that had happened between him and Claire. Every interaction. Every date. Every lie. He signed a notarized statement. I did the same. I contacted Allison. Asked if she'd be willing to provide a statement about what Claire had done. She agreed without hesitation. Someone needs to stop her, Allison said. I collected everything. The timeline of when my birth control disappeared and when I got pregnant. The hotel security report from Nathan's conference. The Facebook messages Claire had sent Nathan. The photos she'd staged. Screenshots of her lies to our parents. Allison's statement about Derek. Phone records showing Claire had called Derek 47 times in the 2 weeks before he broke up with Allison. I put it all in a binder. 89 pages. Printed and organized with tabs and highlighter. Evidence that Claire Hayes was a serial romantic predator who destroyed relationships and manipulated men because she was addicted to the chase. Patricia Moss reviewed it. This is solid, she said. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to be the maid of honor, I said. 2 weeks before the wedding, Claire called me. I'd unblocked her number. Betty. Her voice was small, hopeful. Hi. Will you be my maid of honor? Please. I know things have been hard between us. But you're my sister. I want you standing next to me. Okay, I said. Okay. She sounded shocked. Yes. I'll do it. She cried. Thanked me. Told me she loved me. Told me she'd changed. That Derek made her want to be better. That she was sorry for everything she'd done. I said all the right things. Told her I forgave her. Told her I was happy for her. I lied as easily as she always had. The wedding was on Saturday, October 14th. Afternoon ceremony, evening reception. 250 guests. Claire wore a dress that cost more than my car. Derek looked nervous but happy. My parents cried during the ceremony. I stood next to Claire holding her bouquet, wearing the champagne-colored dress she'd chosen for me, smiling in all the photos. At the reception, I sat at the head table between Claire and my cousin. Dinner was served. Champagne was poured. The best man gave his speech. Funny, touching, perfectly executed. Then it was my turn. I stood up, walked to the microphone, looked out at 300 people who had no idea what was coming. I've been waiting 4 years to say this, I began. Claire's hand froze on her champagne glass. 4 years ago, my sister Claire stole my birth control pills from my bathroom. She thought I wouldn't notice. But I got pregnant unexpectedly after that. And I miscarried at 13 weeks. The room went silent. I couldn't prove she took them. But I knew. The same way I knew when she tried to seduce my boyfriend Nathan at my going-away party. The same way I knew when she showed up at his hotel room in New York and tried to kiss him, then filed a false report when he rejected her. Claire stood up. "Betty, what are you?" "Sit down," I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through everything. She sat. Derek was staring at her, his face pale. "I know about Allison Park," I continued. "The woman Derek was engaged to before you. How you pursued him while he was with her. How you sent him 47 messages in 2 weeks. How you destroyed their relationship so you could have him." I held up the binder. "Everything I'm saying is documented in here. Statements, messages, timeline, witnesses. 4 years of evidence that my sister is a pathological liar who destroys other people's relationships because she's addicted to taking what doesn't belong to her." Claire was crying. My mother stood up. "Betty, stop this right now." "No," I said. "I'm done stopping. I'm done protecting her. I'm done pretending she's a good person just because she's family." I looked at Derek. "She didn't choose you because she loved you. She chose you because you belong to someone else. That's what she does. She sees someone happy and she has to ruin it." I set the microphone down, placed the binder on the head table in front of Derek. "This is my gift to you. Read it. Don't read it. Your choice. But you should know who you married." I walked out of that reception hall with my head high. I could hear chaos erupting behind me. Claire screaming. My mother crying. Derek demanding answers. I got in my car and drove away from that disaster. I didn't create it. I just finally stopped cleaning it up. My parents didn't speak to me for 6 months. "You ruined your sister's wedding," my mother said. "She ruined her own life," I replied. "I just made sure someone else knew the truth." Derek filed for annulment 3 weeks after the wedding. Claire had lied about her past, manipulated him into ending his relationship with Allison, and he couldn't trust anything she told him. The annulment was granted. Claire moved back in with my parents. Lost her job when word spread about what happened at the wedding. Started therapy when she realized no one believed her lies anymore. I don't know if she's actually changing or just learning to hide better. I don't care enough to find out. Nathan and I reconnected. Not romantically, that ship had sailed, but as friends. "You did the right thing," he told me. "I should have said something years ago. I should have protected you better." "We both should have," I said. "But we know better now." A year after the wedding I met someone. His name is Gabriel. He's a teacher, kind, patient, has a sister he actually respects. When I told him about Claire, about everything that happened, he said, "I'm glad you protected yourself. People like that count on your silence." My business is thriving. I have friends who actually care about me. I have a life built on truth instead of performance. I sleep well at night. And I never, ever forgive people just because we share DNA. Someone asked me once if I felt guilty, if I regretted destroying Claire's wedding day. Here's what I told them. I didn't destroy anything. I revealed what was already there. She built her entire life on lies and manipulation. I just stopped being one of the people holding up the walls. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop protecting people from the consequences of their actions. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is tell the truth when everyone wants you to be quiet. And sometimes the only way to save yourself is to let someone else's world burn. The microphone was in my hand. 300 guests were staring. And for the first time in 4 years, I told the truth. Not to hurt Claire, though she was hurt. Not to get revenge, though it felt like justice. But to finally stop carrying the weight of her lies. My sister wanted a fairy tale wedding. She got the truth instead. And honestly, that was the best gift I could have given her. Thank you for listening and watching this story. If it resonated with you, please like, share, and comment where you're watching from. Subscribe for more stories about people who refuse to stay silent. Your support means everything.